Powerful storms ripping through mid-Michigan, lightning dancing across the skies, rain pouring down, winds mangling trees and homes. The news at 6 starts right now.
Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNAM TV5 News at 6.
Well, after the storm comes the cleanup. Families surveying the damage and communities coming together to help one another.
Just hours ago, the National Weather Service confirmed a tornado did in fact touch down in West Branch with winds reaching 100 miles per hour.
Wow, now we have total team coverage of the storm damage from Saginaw all the way up to Arenac County.
And that's where we begin tonight. TV5's James Felton is in all gray where one woman was nearly crushed by a tree. James.
Thanks, guys. Severe storms blew through Arenac County last night. Just how powerful were they? Take a look at this trailer. You can see a tree laying across, pretty much destroying the structure. And believe it or not, there was a woman who was sitting right here on this cushion as the tree fell. And today, she shared her story with us.
It was pretty scary.
About 3 feet. The difference between Nancy Rathbun being alive instead of buried under this tree. As damaging weather made its assault on the Point All Gray campground, Rathbun sat in her camper.
The trailer moved, and then it was just a sudden pushing me forward. And that was it. And that's how I stayed.
Rathbun says she was okay, but she was trapped. She spent 15 minutes inside the mangled mess before she was rescued.
They came after and through the rain and ripped off the side and came and got me. I was fine. I was just fine.
Rathbun's friend Diane Felposh recalled those anxious moments waiting for her neighbor to be freed.
How frightening it would be to be there. Just glad she's okay.
Damage is scattered about throughout the campground. Felposh is like everyone we talk to here, keeping a positive attitude.
Mom Nature cleaned house here. We'll all be fine. Everything's great. It'll be fine.
Fine because no lives were lost, thanks to a few precious feet.
There was intervention there for sure.
And while Rathbun says she's glad she is okay, the same cannot be said for her car. She tells us another tree totaled her vehicle thanks to these storms last night. Just another example of how powerful these winds were. Reporting here in Arenac County, James Felton, WNEM, TV5.
Ooh, just devastating. Well, listen to this. Here's a look at where power outages stand in several of our counties. Now, in Arenac, more than 5,600 families are without power. Moving west to Gladwin, more than 7,400 outages. And in Clare, nearly 8,000 active outages. Restoration times for some areas isn't until Friday.
In Saginaw County, dozens are still without power in dealing with a major mess to clean up.
Toppled trees, crushing cars, and local golf courses forced to close due to the heavy downpours.
TV5's Craig McMorris joins us live tonight with a look at some of the damage in Saginaw. Craig.
Colette, David, not too bad out here right now in downtown Saginaw. That certainly wasn't the case last night. We went to 3 different locations in Saginaw County where the severe weather really had an impact last night.
We come out and tree was on top of the car that was up front. Could not see anything except for a headlight and the tail.
This tree debris litters the front of Carrie Sparks' home in Saginaw Township. When severe weather hit around 9:30 last night, Sparks and her husband were caught in the deluge. They went inside the house to change out of their wet clothes when a huge tree limb crashed onto their car.
Oh, we were so lucky we didn't get hit with the tree at all.
The car was drivable. Her husband took it to work today, but you can bet coworkers will say something about his ride.
The roof is caved in, lots of dents, but it was able to drive off.
Golfers weren't able to drive off tees at the Apple Mountain Golf Course today. The course was closed due to being oversaturated thanks to the 2 big rainstorms we've experienced since Sunday night. The only birdies here today were the wing variety. The course hopes to open for business again tomorrow. The storm also claimed another victim when this huge tree was felled in front of a house on Midland Road. Motorists got an eyeful as they drove by as a tree removal crew addressed the problem. Meanwhile, Carrie Sparks says that in the 20 years she's lived in this house, she's never been through a storm like the one that hit last night.
Not that I remember. We've had storms, had branches off, but never this big. Never.
And I would not be a bit surprised if a lot of folks echo that very same sentiment. Reporting from downtown Saginaw, Craig McMorris, WNEM TV5.
All right, Craig, thank you. Now, as we've mentioned, our northern areas were some of the hardest hit. TV5's Ashland Hill is in Clare County, where powerful winds mangled boats and flipped docks on a local lake. Ashland.
Yeah, so we've moved up the road. It was about a 4-minute drive. We're still in Freeman Township, but we're now on Norway Avenue, and it looks like a complete war zone. Check out all of this destruction. I've never seen any storm damage quite like this. This Norway Avenue is normally a 2-lane road, only 1 lane, barely open. Cars not really able to make it back and forth. Downed power lines, broken fences. We've got tree damage to some of the cottages, some of the garages, and the residents tell me it gets even worse over at the lake. Now, we're right next to Windover Lake. People are saying docks up in trees, boats floating freely. So some of the residents we talked to scrambling just to get their belongings together.
We got a call saying we better come get our boats up here, so we came up, and the power lines are all down and the boats are out floating free in the raft.
Mike Haley lives in Clare but has a cottage here on Windover Lake. He tells me he knew it stormed this week but didn't expect this severe of damage. And it's not just here.
We've seen a lot of trees, a lot of blow down, large trees down, a lot of power lines down, utilities damaged. We've seen a lot of cars today. We've seen a lot of cars and trucks that were damaged also.
Jerry Becker is Clare County's emergency manager. He tells me the important thing is to stay safe moving forward.
If you can get trees taken away from your home, clear the trees away, clear that stuff away, and have a plan.
Now, again, the damage just making it look like an absolute war zone here. Power restoration not estimated until at the earliest Friday afternoon. So a lot of folks struggling just to find power. Reporting in Freeman Township, Ashland Hill, WNEM TV5.
Well, yeah, Brian, it still amazes me to see how much damage, how powerful Mother
Really
Nature is.
yeah.
I'm here with Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman. Okay, so it's gray outside now, and it's a little muggy. So is the rain moving out?
The rain's moving out, yeah. Okay. Things are definitely on the mend weather-wise.
Yeah.
We've had some lingering showers on and off throughout the day, but thankfully they have not been thunderstorms. The severe weather threat over and done with, and we have 2 more tranquil days ahead as the cleanup and restoration efforts continue. So that's exactly what we need at this point. But want to revisit the tornado that touched down in West Branch last night. Here's the information on it. It was rated an EF1 by the National Weather Service's survey team. They estimated that the maximum winds were around 100 miles per hour. But this really is a testament to the type of setup that we had last night, really primed for brief spin-ups like these. How brief? Well, there's your path length. This tornado wasn't even on the ground for 0.2 of a mile, and it was on the ground for less than 2 minutes on top of that. Path width was only 40 yards wide in terms of the damage path, but unfortunately it did make a direct hit on at least 2 houses in that area, one sustaining substantial damage, having most of its roof torn off. But it wasn't just the tornado, of course, producing damage yesterday, as we've seen from all the reports. And here's some photos from our weather spotter, actually, Beverly DeBee in Caseville. Not quite a full tree, but nonetheless a big chunk of it falling down onto her house. Says they're still waiting for the tree service to come on by. Diana Gibson Lee in the Arenac, Iosco County border area. You can see a large tree completely snapped and toppled there by the powerful winds last night. And this more evidence of straight line winds from what we're seeing here from Chris Frost out of Este. You can see 2 of those trees completely snapped at their roots there and toppled over in the same direction. But on the First Warn 5 Sky Tracker, things taking a notably quieter turn. Just a few light showers hanging on in parts of the thumb. They will be out of here within the next hour to hour and a half. And then quieter conditions settling in overnight once the cold front that's still parked more or less overhead pulls away to the south and east. It's going to allow high pressure to filter in. Things are going to take a more comfortable and, most importantly, more tranquil turn throughout the night. So we got that slight shower chance, a leftover 1 or 2 through about 7 o'clock. Temps in the low 70s, falling into the 50s during the second half of the night, so more comfortable under partly cloudy skies. We'll take a look ahead toward Labor Day weekend in your full forecast.